Our episode starts with a computer programmer working on a virtual reality program. The woman in the game is a vampire who tells him that he wants the guy to feel the greatest feeling that he'll never feel again, and in the real world, someone proceeds to shoot him. On the way to the crime scene, Tracy nags Nick about some paperwork, but he's distracted and ignores her. After a rundown of what happens, he admits to Natalie in the coroner's office that he's bored and she gives him some advice to suck it up. He is then called into the captain's office, who also notices his distracted state and gives him similar advice. He then overhears the other detectives playing the game as a new detective named Linda lets them know that it's a vampire game. They then explain how it works, which awesomely works exactly like current era AR. That's right, Forever Knight predicted the future. Anyway, he tries on the glasses and is overwhelmed by the beautiful woman in the game. When he takes it off, he sees the same woman being brought into the police station, we find out is the victim's business partner, Rita. Rita states that she was doing an interview at the time of the murder. Nick then sneaks into the evidence locker and puts the goggles on to play the game. In level 1, all he has to do is feed on the willing hot woman in the red dress. We also find out that the game has been altered with the vampire admitting to the murder of the game programmer, but him having to go through the game to get more info. Level 2 has him in some sort of gallery, but he gets stopped by the captain. He tries to explain that the game is giving him clues, but the captain dismisses it. He then goes to the police computer lab where Linda says that Rita was indeed online at the time of the murder. They figure out that she had motive, but they can't point her being at the murder scene. Linda then tells him that whatever the game wants him to know, it will be deleted in 12 hours, so basically, the Rita woman is the Riddler. Back in the interrogation room, they brought Rita back. Nick does a horror job of interrogating her, and the captain dismisses her and reprimands Nick. He then heads to the real-life location on the first level of the game. There he finds a shiny skull. He then goes to the real-life location of the second level and puts on the goggles. Level 2 requires him to attack a woman named Megan, but this time she fights back with a cross. He uses his vampire speed to appear behind her and gets her. In the real world, the rush of the game brings his fangs out and he has to quickly cover up. He then heads to a potted plant and finds a receipt. When he presents it to Linda and Tracy, they again brush him off. These cops are pretty crappy. He finally remembers he's a vampire, hypnotizes Linda to be on his side. Natalie witnesses it and then reprimands him. He goes home on a tiff and LeCrow is there to basically act as his therapist. When he hears about the game, LeCrow then takes off. Nick goes back in. Level 3 is in a boiler room straight out of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies or a laser tag park. Either way, this is a fighting level where he's being chased by hunters. He beats it and then heads to the real life location where he finds a weapon in Hourglass. The captain again reprimands him even though there is clearly real world evidence he's right. Why are police captains in movies and TV so stubborn? Nick heads back home and grabs the game where he's in another hunter level in the boiler room. This time they're dressed like Star Trek cast members and he has a bit of trouble with this one but eventually decapitates the hunter. Back in the police station, Tracy can't find anything on the Rita woman, and Linda then tells them they should probably take Nick seriously and Rita might be addicted to the game and is getting off on teasing Nick. They then decide to try to find the meaning of the clues Nick found. Meanwhile, Nick heads to the newest location and finds a noose and a knife. He's then told that he can't find the last level until he figures out what the clues mean and only has an hour to do it. He calls Tracy to let her know about the anagram, and they both start to try to figure it out. Linda cheats and tries to use the Windows 95 program to do the same thing. Nick figures it out before the program does at the last level of the church. He heads there, sizzling in the sun, and puts the glasses back on. Vampire Rita does her villain thing while looking like Hillary from Fresh Prince, where she tells him that the murder weapon is there in a place where a vampire wouldn't want to touch it. He figures out that it's in the holy water. Nick then tells her what he really is, explaining that it's a game. We then see that in real life she's there with a gun and shoots him. She then tells him that the gun she shot him with is the real weapon. He then gets up and goes to bite her but stops himself. He then hypnotizes her to forget the vampire stuff and arrests her instead. Tracy gives a corny one-liner and they take her to jail. The episode ends with Natalie lecturing Nick about his gaming habit and how it might result in him wanting to feed in the real world. Natalie then destroys the glasses in the fireplace. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube along with download options. Link is in the description.